The story and the engine is similar to earlier episodes like Rosa and Demons of the Punjab, allowing a new writer to tell a story firmly rooted in their own culture. This is exactly the sort of thing Doctor Who should be doing going forwards. The show desperately needs some new voices and new ideas, and this is a good start. I can't say I understood all of it, but it's certainly thought-provoking, and it gives you the feeling of being immersed in a different culture, which I think is what they were aiming for. The writer Inoa Ellens is best known for a play called Barbershop Chronicles, and this does not stray too far from that, as it's set mostly in one room of a barbershop in Lagos. There's a bit of CGI, but most of the episode would easily work on the stage. That's no bad thing though. Since the classic era, Doctor Who has always been about telling epic stories on a low budget, and if Disney don't fund the next series, the budgets are just going to get even lower. So this is the sort of story we're going to have to get used to. Having said that, the opening scenes of the Doctor wandering around a crowded Nigerian market do a good job of setting the scene. It's bright and colourful and feels incredibly packed. They could easily have skipped it, but it does reinforce the feeling that the Doctor is happy and accepted by these people in a way that he might not be in other times and places. And Belinda's later reaction to the same scene is more like how most people would feel in that situation. Once the Doctor reaches the barbershop, he discovers the customers are all trapped there and forced to tell stories by the mysterious barber, played by Arion Bakare. He has a great screen presence. He never physically hurts anyone but dominates the situation anyway. In a different story, he could have easily played the master. The animations used to represent the stories being told are a neat effect. At first it seems like it's just there for the viewer's benefit, but later on it becomes apparent that everyone in the shop can see it. So it's all part of the shop's magic, and not just the director taking artistic license. The actual science of what's going on is a bit vague. The shop is simultaneously both in Lagos and on the back of a giant spider travelling through the Nexus. It's a great visual, but doesn't make a massive amount of sense. Maybe a few more viewings will clear it up. The story the Doctor tells about Belinda is not animated, but in live action, I guess because it's cheaper. And it's a great insight into Belinda's character, showing us that she's the sort of person who would take on a new patient after an insanely long shift and save her life, which goes a long way to building up her character. It also gives us the obligatory cameo by Mrs. Flood. She would not really fitted in the market scenes. The biggest surprise comes when the Doctor realises that the barber's assistant is actually Nancy's daughter, and he met her when he was the fugitive Doctor. Jo Martin gamely steps in for a couple of lines, which is all she ever gets nowadays. I guess she's got her own series of Big Finish audios now, but she really deserves a showcase on screen. She's wasted in these little cameos. I don't know if her encounter with Nancy's daughter will feature in the audios. I guess it might be a reference to a well-known story from Nigerian folklore, but everything I know about Nancy comes from Neil Gaiman, which is bad on several levels. The whole use of gods in this story feels very different from the previous Pantheon episodes. From the Toymaker onwards, they've been portrayed as evil chaos mongers who need to be stopped, but here the Doctor just casually mentions hanging out with Dionysus and Loki and so on. I would have liked to get some context for that. Like, are these actual gods or aliens or interdimensional beings? And what's their relationship to the Pantheon? It just leaves more questions than answers. Is that a bad thing though? Maybe not. If nothing else, they could bring out one of those short story compilations of various Doctors meeting gods from different religious faiths. That could be problematic for various reasons, but still wouldn't mind seeing it. The ending is a classic Doctor Who feel-good finale. Everybody lives, and even the ostensible villain is redeemed and welcomed in by the community. It just leaves you with a nice warm feeling, even if you didn't entirely understand everything that went before. The biggest unexplained point was the random appearance of a little girl, who in the credits is revealed to be Poppy from Space Babies. That has to be building up to something, but I have no idea what. Overall, it's an interesting story. It probably won't be one of my favourites, but it's full of ideas and feels very fresh. The writing could have been a bit clearer, but for a first-timer, not bad. Next week, it's the Interstellar Song Contest. So it's likely to be incredibly camp and full of weird aliens, like Doctor Who meets the Fifth Element. And there's a possibility it might include the big Mrs. Flood reveal, and about time as well. So press subscribe if you want to see my thoughts on that, and I'll see you next time.